Hi, my name is Christina and I am your librarian here at Christina's Bookshelf. And today I am bringing you Whisper by Tal Bauer. The name of this book is genius. The cover of this book is absolutely brilliant. This book is phenomenal. If you are a Tal Bauer fan, you will not be disappointed. If this is the first time you have ever heard me mention Tal Bauer's name, get ready, hold on tight, enjoy the ride. It's gonna be a good one. This is Kris's story. Kris, we met in Hush. He was just a side character. But if you are a fan of Tal Bauer, he doesn't just write side characters. And once we read Hush, which was Tom and Mike's adventure, we were all like, hey, Kris needs a story. And Tal was like, what? We were like, yeah, Kris needs a story. And then Tal totally pulled like a Night of the Roxbury on us, and he was like, no, yes. And this is it. When we meet Kris in Hush, he's very feminine, he's sassy as hell. I am so freaking in love with him. There's just so much to his demeanor, and there's so much that we don't know. What we do know is that he goes around town, like just giving his body away. It's kind of like Maid Marian in Robin Hood Men in Tights, where she says, fine, I will give you my body, but you will never have my heart, my mind, or my soul. Because those belong to David. David was a glimpse in Hush. When Mike and Tom were hiding out in Kris's condo, there's this one picture. The only thing that really makes the condo home is David. And Mike explains to Tom that that was his husband, and he died. When Whisper begins, we start in the past. We start before the attacks on the Twin Towers, and we get a glimpse of who Kris is. Who he is before the war. How he views himself, how the CIA views him, how the world kind of views him, how he grew up. We get Kris Caldera, green. And the first half of the story is watching Kris become who we meet later on. The tragedies and travesties, the victories, the almost perfection that he reaches, the all-time low that he goes through. Meeting David, which is one of the absolute most beautiful moments. And it's just a speck on the radar. Not only did these two souls find themselves in war, but they found themselves in the Middle East, where homosexuality is a deadly sin. It is a crime. Plus, we're living in the don't ask, don't tell phase of the military. Kris is very out there. He doesn't care if anybody knows, but he has to rein it in. And everybody seems to be worried about his life. They seem to be worried about him physically and his physical appearance and how he's going to present himself. But nobody seems to understand until David comes along just how critical having Kris there is. One of the things that I found enjoyable about this book, yet sometimes very painful and in your face, is the all-American white boy CIA. And then you have this Puerto Rican brown boy, flamboyant, gay, accepts himself for who he is, and he's Kris. He's smart, he's brilliant. And watching the trials and tribulations and the extra hoops and all the shit he has to go through just to prove himself worthy of being there, let alone running an operation, being in charge, having people listen to him for the basic things. He doesn't just go in gung-ho, I'm an American, this is what you're going to do, but he understands the culture and trying to get these all-American CIA boys to understand Muslim, Islamic, Arabic cultures. It's like you might be trying to teach them Sanskrit. I mean, they just don't even want to acknowledge what is happening. And then you have David, who's from Libya, who is Muslim, Arab, but has been an American for so long. And here we are, once again, white boy all-Americans fighting these towel heads, fighting these jihadists, these fundamentalists, these radicals. And he has to remind everybody, I'm an American, this is who I am, I'm here fighting with you guys. So throughout Whisper, we have two men that have come together. Both of them are fighting for freedom, fighting for revenge, avenging 9/11. And then fighting for their love. If you come in here and you're wanting hot, steamy, kind of sexy scenes like we got in the Executive Office series, Kris and David have a lot of love scenes, but it's not written in detail. And I don't want to say it's fade to black. We get the gist of what's happening, but Tal writes it in a way that we can feel their souls on fire for each other, their hearts beating as one for each other. And then when something catastrophic happens and David and Kris are torn from each other's lives, the pain, the agony, the anguish. Tal doesn't just rip us apart and tear us down. I think while we're down, he might kick us a couple of times just so we understand and can see what is happening here. Part of the brilliance of this story too is that in the Executive Office series, if you've read that, what he does, you know, we have Prince F and Adam, and we have the whole Muslim religion, and how Tal focuses on that to show the beauty of what it is in its purest form, what it's meant to be. This is that too. David grew up Muslim. His father was a huge influence on him until his father was taken. And that ripped a huge hole in David's soul. And for a good chunk of the story, David is torn between here, here, here. He has so many fronts that he's personally fighting, and not just the war. And then here comes Kris, who's kind of like a balm to his existence. They can kind of help him see. And then they're torn apart. So in Whisper, we get a little bit pre 9/11. We get 9/11 and forward. You get to see in detail a lot of battles, arguments, skirmishes, things that went on. I mean, Tal went into some very great research to bring us as much reality into this. I mean, there are obviously fictional characters, fictional situations. At a certain point, the story takes a turn for greater fictional being, but a lot of the story is based on fact. It might not have happened at this point of time, but it has happened within American history. I think this book is going to bring back a lot of memories for those of us that sat and watched in horror the planes crashing into the Twin Towers, the Pentagon, remembering friends, family, being deployed to a war we didn't understand. And when we did understand, it was too late. And then we have Kris and David, and watching them develop and grow and become just one soul under Allah. I was in constant tears throughout this story, just remembering my own personal pain, remember reading the news, remember accepting this when it was told to me by the president, by the vice president, and then what actually happened, how things actually went down. Remembering President Barack Obama coming up and saying that this is what the United States government has been doing. So there's going to be a lot of your own personal hits that you're going to take in this book. Your own personal soul will be shattered. If not, then you might not be human, or there's, you know, I don't know, see a therapist or something, or not. It's really up to you. But out of all of Tal Bauer's books, I think this is the one that's going to be the most personal that anybody has ever read. It's going to take you through so many journeys, adventures, and not just mentally and physically, but emotionally, psychically, I don't know how you want to describe that, and spiritually. Your soul is going to want to die, and then the beauty of being uplifted. And I strongly encourage you to read the author's note at the end, because it was fantastic. So that was me gushing about the greatness that is Whisper by Tal Bauer. I really didn't want to go into details about a lot because I don't want to give anything away. I am giving Whisper by Tal Bauer 5 stars. If I could give it more, I would give it like infinity and beyond. So what I am going to do for you is I am going to leave the Amazon link down below so you can click it, order it, and be on your way. If you've enjoyed this review, I'm gonna ask that you help me with that YouTube algorithm and give me a like. Leave me a comment. I love to interact with all of you guys, and go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I'm recovering from surgery, so I really don't have a schedule on when I get things out, and that is the magic of the subscribe button, is that you will get a notification when I have something new for you. If you're like me and think this chick's pretty awesome, down below I'm going to leave stalker links aplenty. Go, click, investigate, enjoy. If you have a book or an arc you'd like me to read, or some light editing proofreading you would like done, you can request via website. Whisper by Tal Bauer, 5 stars. Bye. Hi, my name is Christina, and I am your librarian here at Christina's Bookshelf, and today I am bringing you Hush by Tal Bauer. He says that this is a standalone, but I, not even halfway through the book, was like, no, this character needs a story. This cannot be a standalone. So, we'll see. Right now, it's a standalone. Probably not for long. What I want to say before I start this review is that you need to take your executive office